Julie's Designs. This is another thrift flip video where I take items that I've thrifted or that was given to me, found on the side of the road, wherever, and I upcycle them to something that is more my style for resale. So one of the projects today was inspired by Kelsey Webb, who is in the Julie's Designs and Signs Facebook group. I have the link to that in the description below. If you're not following that page, you need to. There are so many amazing ladies on there with tons of inspiration. So the other day when I was cleaning out my attic, I found only three picket fence pieces. I don't know what you call it. Like, it was just one. And it's not really enough to make what I would normally make with it. So I'm like, what am I going to do with that? And then I remembered Casey's picture and I was like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to take these. I don't know how much these resale in the store, these little picket fences by themselves. These were some that were given to me. Most of my wood I get for free. Sorry. So we're gonna make some cute little boxes out of these little picket fences. When she posted the picture, I just thought it was the cutest idea. It reminded me of some boxes I had made a year ago, like a set of 3 with a stamp on the front, and they sold really well. So I'm gonna kind of incorporate her idea with my idea of those boxes, and I think it's gonna be absolute perfection. And then my neighbor actually thrifted this for me. Now I have like tons of people thrifting for me. When they see something they know I would like, they just pick it up for me, which is great because then you like get all the good stuff because everybody's out looking for you. So this is probably a magazine rack, but it is super heavy and super sturdy. It has like all these amazing spindles on it. So, oh, y'all. What's going on with my camera? There we go. I could just paint it. I could just paint it and it would be good to go. But I'm thinking this would be cute. This is an idea I have in my head. We'll see if it works out. To add some pieces of wood on each side and then put a spindle at the top. What I'm thinking is like a freestanding piece in a bathroom where you could roll up your towels and put them in here and then have a towel hanging. How cute would that be? So that's my idea. And as usual, it's something I've never done before, but I think it's gonna work out. Like, this piece is like very heavy, so I feel like it can hold, you know, some stuff going on. So we'll see. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started on these projects. The first thing I'm going to do, since this is my last 3 pieces of picket fence, is I'm tracing it out on cardstock paper. That way, in the future, if I ever wanted to cut out a picket fence, I'll have a template to use. Now I need to figure out what sizes I want to make the boxes. I want to do 3 different sizes. So I decided 20 inches for the bigger one. Then I was going to do 15 and 10. And then when I got down to the 10-inch one, I thought that was too small. So I ended up doing 20 inches, 18 inches, and 15 inches on the tops. This is completely personal preference. You can do them all the same. You can do them different. It's however you want to do it. Since I only have 3 of them, I just decided to make 3 different sizes, and I'll have it priced separately, and I'll have it priced as a set if somebody wants to buy all 3. Now I need to figure out how tall I want the box to come. So on the big one, I decided 8 inches, then 7 inches, and then 6 inches. So each one will go down an inch. So I've cut the side pieces already, and I put my miter saw at a 22.5 degree angle, and I'm going to angle down the side pieces. Now I'm going to take my front piece of the box, and I need it to be the same height as where it slopes down. You see right there? So I'm going to put my saw back, and I'm going to cut that piece. I don't know what the measurement is. You just want to use your piece of wood to measure this. And now I decided I want my front piece to also angle down. So the top of the miter saw also can be moved at an angle. So I'm going to move the top of my miter saw to 22.5 degrees. and I'm going to cut this piece at an angle. So now the whole thing will angle down. Now it's time to go nail all my pieces together. I'm just going to use my 18 gauge brad nailer. I think I'm using like 1.5-inch nails on here. And I'm just going to nail the side pieces together, and then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to nail on the top. The front piece. You want to make sure you have your angle the right way when you're doing this. And then the bottom I always save for last, because even though I'm using the same measurements on everything, I feel like I always have a different measurement on the bottom. Okay, I got one walking nail. If you use a brad nailer and you don't have this nail clipper, you need one. You just clip your wonky nail, and then I take my hammer and just kind of hammer in the edge, and it goes right in like it was never there. I have this linked in my Amazon store in the description below, along with lots of other tools that I use. Okay, I got my bottom piece cut, and I'm just going to nail it in just like I did the other pieces. Like I said, I always save the bottom piece for last because I feel like every bottom comes out different for some reason. Now I'm just going to sand down the whole piece using my orbital sander and about 220 grit sandpaper. I like to round off all the edges and just make sure everything's even. This is what I like to do. I just think rounded edges look so much better. So I'm just going to sand the entire piece, and then it will be ready for paint. So I'm using ready to use antique white paint. You can get it off the shelf at Walmart. I use it in the flat finish, so it kind of mimics chalk paint, but since I'm putting it on wood, it's still really easy to distress, and it's like a very pretty off-white color. And I am going to paint the back of this piece and the bottoms, which I do on most of my pieces, because I don't know how somebody's going to use this. Like if they hang it on the wall, I want it to look good. If they sit it on a table, I want it to look good from all angles. So I'm going to do 2 coats of paint on here, and on the interior part, I just painted as far down as I could reach with my paintbrush. Now I want to lightly distress this piece. I'm just going to hit the edges with my orbital sander, and then it'll be ready for the last step. Okay, this step is total personal preference because I do think it looks great as is, but you know, I love my crockery stamp and it brings it to a whole nother level. So I'm just going to put the ink on the stamp. I've already picked out the ones I want to use for each box. For the bigger box, I'm going to use a bigger stamp, and then, you know, it's going to get smaller and smaller. Now I know I need to get an acrylic block. Y'all comment in every video that I need to get one of these, and I never think about it until I'm actually using the stamp. So I need to order it. I actually have it in my Amazon store. I just need to go ahead and order it. So I'm just putting my Stays On ink, and then you just place it on your piece, and this is a flat surface, so it's pretty easy to stamp. You push down lightly, and you want to kind of make sure you push down everywhere so you're not missing anything, but I'm okay with a little imperfection. That makes it just like look a little bit older. And there you go. Perfect. Now I just need to do the same thing on the other 2 pieces. Once again, I was inspired by something that one of the ladies in the Julie's Designs and Signs Facebook group posted. Chastity posted these cute little birdhouses with an open top, and I just had to recreate it, and I thought it was pretty similar to the boxes that I just made, so I figured I'd do a quick version of these. So I'm just using fence boards. I'm using the height of fence boards, which is 5 by 5. I marked the middle of the board. I cut this board 8 inches, so the middle is 4 inches. I turned my miter saw to a 15-degree angle, and I'm just angling the top of these pieces. So I have 2 pieces that I cut 8 inches long, and then I angled the tops at a 15 degree, and now I'm going to cut the side pieces just to the height on the sides of this. Next, I'm going to create like a little roof for it. This is just a piece of wood I had laying around. I always keep these little cutoffs in case I need them, just for little things like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark about how long I want it to be, and then go cut them down. Now make sure you cut your pieces at a 15-degree angle as well, like on the roof. So the ends that touch are going to need to be cut to 15 degrees. So my Facebook group is starting to turn into Pinterest, which I don't get on because then I want to make everything. So now y'all are posting all this amazing stuff that y'all are making, and I'm so inspired, and I want to make these things in my videos as well. Okay, now we got to turn it into a birdhouse. So we're going to use this drill bit to cut a hole. First, I'm going to cut a pilot hole just with a regular drill bit that's about the same size as the other one. And then I'm going to change it out to the circle drill bit. And then you're going to slowly drill this one in to cut a bigger hole. This is actually the first time I've ever used this drill bit. And you do have to put a little bit of force on it. Like I couldn't tell if it was going all the way through, but you will definitely tell when it goes all the way through. So just keep drilling, put a little bit of pressure, and it will go all the way through. I painted the piece white and distressed it just like I did the other boxes. And I always keep little spindles and everything around. So I'm going to use this spindle. I'm going to cut it down. I drilled a little hole, and now I'm going to fill that hole with Gorilla Clear Grip adhesive. And then I'm just going to hammer in the little dowel. You could use a dowel rod. I'm using this little tiny spindle that I had. And you just hammer it in and let it dry. I was going to keep it the natural brown color, but once I saw it all together, I decided to go ahead and paint the little dowel rod white as well. And I love the way this little box turned out, and you could do it all kind of different sizes. It's so cute. So I've cut down the side pieces for this project. I'm just using cut down 2x4s. This is what I use to make my ladders, and I always keep leftovers, but I need them to match the same color as the magazine rack. Oh, and I cut them 2 feet. I figured that was like a good height. So they're 2 feet long. I want to paint the whole thing white and distress it. So I need these to be a much darker brown. So I'm just using my antiquing wax, and I'm going to brush it. The only reason I have the water is just to kind of make this go a little bit faster. If I water it down a little bit, it's easier to brush it on. So once these are all painted, they're going to be close enough to the original color of the magazine rack that once you distress it, it'll all blend together perfectly. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and pick out my spindle that I want to use at the top. I'm going to go to my little stash of spindles here. Isn't this the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? I just keep all this little stuff, and eventually it gets used. So I would love to use like a chunky one like this, but this one's just not wide enough. So I think I'm going to have to use a little bit smaller one. I'm thinking something like this, or maybe this one. I feel like this one is the right color. I definitely want a brown one so I don't have to paint it. So yeah, I think this is the one that I'm going to use for this piece. What y'all think? Okay, I'm going to explain this the best way I can. So I'm going to add some wood glue to my 2-foot side piece. I've already pre-drilled my holes. I'm going to put the magazine rack on top. I want to make sure it's even with that little handle, and I'm just going to put it straight to the best of my ability. And I'm going to turn it over and do the other side. I'm just putting one screw in for now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand it up, and I'm going to make sure it's level and put that second screw in, because it's kind of hard to tell when it's laying down if it's level or not. So now I'm going to take my level and just straighten it out and make sure it's even. And then I'm going to drill that second screw into it. And then I just want to make sure it's level, which it's not completely. I'm still able to wiggle it a little bit. The glue hasn't dried or anything. And now I'm going to clean up all the glue, and I'm going to go grab a clamp, and I'm going to clamp it in place. And the whole time I'm just making sure that the piece is level and exactly where it needs to be, because once this glue dries along with the screws in it, it is not going to move. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and put a clamp on and let this piece dry. Okay, now the fun part, we get to add the spindle on top. So I'm just laying it on top and marking off where I need to go cut it on my miter saw. Once it's cut, I'm going to add glue to the end. This is going to be a little bit messy, but it's not a big deal because I'm painting the whole thing white. I'm just going to clean up the glue after. So I'm going to put it on here. It's going to be hard to see what I'm doing because I'm about to cover up the camera, but I do not want to put a nail through my hand. I've nailed my hand twice, and both times it's making a spindle ladder because these spindles are super hard to get your hands out of the way and be able to push the brad nailer down. And then I'm going to do the other side and put a nail in. Then I'm going to let this whole piece dry really good before I go ahead and paint it. So just be very careful when you're nailing in spindles. Try your best to not have any fingers in the way. It is not fun to put a nail through your finger. Once I've let this piece dry for a while, I'm going to take it outside and use my spray gun that is connected to my air compressor and spray the whole piece. Oh my god, this makes the process go by so fast. I have Rust-Oleum white chalk paint in here, and I do add water to it. And once the paint is dry, I'm going to sand this whole piece down and distress it just like I did the other pieces. And if I have any bleed through issues, I just spray it with Rust-Oleum clear coat and seal in the bleed through, and then go back over it again with my sprayer. At this point, I feel like it looks like a huge spindle box, so I can't wait to see this piece styled up. I think it's gonna look great, but I'm not sure yet. I hope y'all enjoyed the projects in today's video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what was your favorite one that I created today. If this is the kind of videos you love, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I make these kind of videos every single week. There's lots of DIYs, lots of thrift flips, and lots of thrift store shopping. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all in the next video.
Thanks for watching, and give this video a big